Okay, welcome to the Four Functions of Management presentation lecture. The Four Functions of Management is quite a bit of material that we're going to be going over in this unit. Therefore, it's going to be broken up into three presentation lectures. The first part, part one, which we'll be going over in this presentation lecture, will consist of the first two of the Four Functions of Management. There will be another presentation lecture which will discuss the third element, and then a third presentation lecture which will discuss the fourth. So let's get started talking about the first two of the four functions of management. Please make sure that you have your note guide with you, open on your Chromebook or somewhere nearby that you can go ahead and follow along and copy down the notes as we go through this material. So what are the four functions? Let's take a look at them. The four functions are planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Definitions are there. We will be going through each of these with more detail as we go through the presentation lecture. I'm not going to read the definitions for you. However, feel free to pause the presentation lecture to get these definitions down, because these are very, very important concepts to know when it comes to the four functions of management, and also for your quiz. Knowing these terms is very, very important. So let's move on and take a look at planning. What does it mean to you to plan? Planning could be the most important of the four functions of management. Planning is step number one, and if your plan is not solid, has not been well thought out, and there's been a significant amount of time and effort put into your plan, chances are the other three functions of management will also struggle. Planning is basically setting goals. So here you are in step number one of the four functions of management, and what you're doing is you're taking a look at what the end game is going to be. So where do you want to be at the end of a certain time period? What is the goal? So if you can plan in step one as to where you want to get to, that's going to help you when it comes to organizing, leading, and controlling. So let's take a little bit more of a look into planning. There's different types of plans that a manager could put into place. A strategic plan, this is your long-range plan. This is one that's going to take a look at the entire process and determine your end game. Within the strategic plan, there's also going to be tactical plans. Tactical plans are more of a short-term goal, usually within a year, and they are going to have target dates or timelines as to when those different processes or tasks are going to be completed. And then there's also an operational plan. This, again, just like the tactical plan, is a short-term plan. It is going to aid in achieving the tactical plans, and it's going to put into place certain basic business procedures and operations, such as policy development, regulations, budgets, etc., etc. Taking a look at the next function of management, we take a look at organizing. This is one that is put into place after the planning process is done. So all of these are going to be like building blocks on top of one another. Once you've completed the first one, you can move on to not planning, but at least getting into this next function, which is organizing your thoughts or organizing your plan. Organizing is identifying what needs to be done and getting the resources to do so. So after the plan is in place, you have the end game set, you have tactical, strategic, and all of your goals in place. What resources are you going to need in order to make this goal a reality and be able to achieve this goal? That is what organizing is all about. Now, when it comes to different business structures, a small business, there are many advantages. And the advantages of a small business are going to be different than the advantages of a corporation. A corporation is going to have a lot more employees, but most likely, because of the way that our class is structured, we are going to focus on the small business aspect of the four functions of management. So let's see how these four functions could impact a small business. When it comes to advantages of a small business, small size is going to allow managers to be more flexible. Reason being, less employees, not obviously as big, less customers, therefore changes and adjustments to the plans, adjustments to the organizational structure, whatever is in place by that particular management, because there are less employees and less customers, the ability to be more flexible and make changes could become more immediate, at least the results of those changes. If you're a big corporation, when you might have thousands upon millions of employees, all these managers and these goals or these changes in business processes are going to be coming down the chain. It could take months, if not years, or multiple years to put these changes in place. Less likely to lay off employees. If you are a smaller business, you have less employees, and because those employees are going to be wearing many hats and possibly completing many different tasks, they are going to be more likely to stay employed. If you work at a big corporation, say Kimberly-Clark or something of that nature, there could be a slight slow in demand for the product. There could be other economic indicators that's going to slow the economy, therefore meaning there might not be as much work for some of these employees, giving them a greater chance of being unemployed. You can offer employees more chances to develop, and that kind of goes with what I just said before about wearing many hats. You might have an accountant who is also going to be dealing with customers, also be dealing with operations, receiving, budgeting, all those other different planning options, and also part of the organizing process of the management process. And these types of people then are going to get a chance to get their hands in every single different process that goes along with making this business successful, unlike in a corporation where you have many different employees. However, these employees are going to be more departmentalized. Your accountants are only going to be dealing with numbers in the accounting area. They are not going to be dealing with customers. They are not going to be dealing with customer satisfaction and things of that nature. So it gives the employees a chance to see how this business is going to run from start to finish, and have an impact all the way through. Every step of the way, they're going to have a chance to impact that change or impact that process and the business's overall success. Most small businesses are going to start in a geographical area where the owner is going to be very aware of the demographic makeup, therefore being able to establish hopefully a loyal customer base, because as we have discussed in previous classes, if you want to be successful, you want to keep customers coming back. Yes, you do want to attract new customers, but once you have that customer base in place, you want to keep them happy and you want to keep them coming back time and time again. Now, we are going to be reading, and next time in class, we're going to take a look at an article called Smooth as Silk. Okay, you are going to read that article and you are going to answer questions, 2 questions on this slide and 2 questions on the next slide. I wanted to preempt you with those questions so that you had those in the back of your head before you read the article next time we meet in class. The first question is, what are some advantages that Jawad has in running the day-to-day operations of her business? So think about that before you read the article. These are the things you want to answer. This is what you're looking for as you read, some conclusions you want to draw. Then next, what skills did she develop to improve strategy of her business? We got a couple more questions we're going to discuss on the next slide. What are some of the obstacles that small businesses must overcome when pursuing strategies for more effective business practices? Hopefully by taking a look at these questions, you're possibly formulating answers in your head already, and maybe they'll be proven true, maybe they won't be proven true when you get a chance to read the article. Final question, what are some ways small businesses could use organizational strategies to help each other increase business? All right, let's take a concepts check. Here's what I would like for you to do. On your notes, please pause the presentation lecture. On your notes, what are some ways to be creative when organizing your resources? That's the question I would like for you to answer. So go ahead and answer that. Take a couple minutes, pause the presentation lecture. Once you have an answer in place, then go ahead and resume the presentation lecture, and we'll take a look at your answers and some possible answers to this question. All right, so ways to be creative when organizing resources. Hopefully, or maybe you didn't, but at least you'll have some insight on the answers to this question by taking a look at this slide and comparing it to the answer that you wrote down in your notes, is talk to another small business and compare notes. There are definitely a ton of resources out there. SCORE, S-C-O-R-E, is one. There's the SBA, the Small Business Administration. Those are 2 primary sources where you can do research and you can determine whether or not you are going to be creative. I shouldn't say creative, but it might jumpstart those creative juices when you're getting ready to organize your business and then also develop and gather those resources. Network with customers. Hey, you might have customers who are also in business for themselves, and they might have gone through some of the struggles that you're going through as well as a business owner, so why wouldn't you talk to them about that and see what they have gone through? things that didn't work for them, things that did work for them, and then determine what might work best for you as you move forward. Look locally. Obviously, if you stay within a local area, your chances of having or talking with somebody who is going to be well versed in the demographic makeup of your customer base in your area is going to be very beneficial to you. So you want to look in those local areas. Form strategic alliances. We talked about this in Unit 1. What is a strategic alliance? This is the opportunity to align with something else. We talked about DirecTV and AT&T. We talked about, I don't know if we really did, but ABC and ESPN, forming strategic alliances to be able to tap into those additional customer bases and hopefully grow and be able to generate more profit, possibly offer your customers something that your competition cannot. Think outside the box. This is easier said than done. Thinking about something that has been done, one of the worst things that you can say is when you put a business process in place or you're doing something that is business oriented and you do it because, well, this is just the way it's always been done. Well, chances are you might be successful, but you might not be successful. But thinking outside the box could give you a competitive advantage and then definitely increase your profit. And as we know from our last quiz, those were two major areas that are considered every time a small business owner or a business owner in general is going to make any decisions. Profit and competition are going to be in that conversation. All right, we are going to stop right here, but I am going to preview that, let you know that our next presentation lecture, part 2, will deal with leading. So at this time, make sure that you have reviewed the presentation lecture. Make sure that you have everything in your notes that is needed. I'll see you in class next time we meet, and I look forward to getting a chance to discuss with you leading in the next presentation lecture.